If you're listening to this in the summer, you're right in the heart of Pitta season. And if the summer hasn't been feeling quite as energetic or vibrant as you hoped, if the heat is leaving you feeling drained, sleep a little lighter as usual, or you're finding yourself a bit snappier than you'd like, this episode is for you. I'm Katja Patel, Ayurvedic diet and lifestyle educator, yoga teacher, and teacher mentor. Welcome back to Rooted in the Seasons, where ancient wisdom meets modern life with a strong cup of tea and practical tools for a real busy women. Today, I want to talk about Pitta Dosha. What it is, why summer amplifies it, and what you can actually do to feel steadier through the season. Because the symptoms that creep in over summer are quite normal and make complete sense once you understand what's happening. And they respond well to small, consistent shifts. Let's have a look at Pitta Dosha. In Ayurveda, everything in nature, including your body, is made up of 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. These combine into 3 constitutional types called doshas. They're like bioenergies. And maybe you have known or you have heard them before. They are vata, pitta, and kapha. If you're new to this and want a fuller picture, I've linked a beginner's guide in the show notes. It gives you a clear overview without the overwhelm. So we move through the doshas seasonally too. Spring is kapha season. It has heavier, slower, wetter qualities. As we move into summer, we shift into pitta territory. The qualities of the season change, and the body needs to change with them. Pitta dosha is fire and water combined. Its qualities are those of the elements: hot, sharp, light, and penetrating. In the body, pitta governs digestion, metabolism, and the hormonal system. It also shapes how you think and how you respond. When pitta is balanced, you feel it. You're focused, decisive, energized. Digestion is strong. There's a sharpness to your thinking that feels good, clear, rather than pressure. That's pitta working well. When pitta tips, those same qualities become too much. The sharpness becomes irritability. The focus becomes intensity. The heat that drives you starts to drain you instead. Now, here's something interesting, and once you hear it, it makes total sense. Ayurveda works on a simple principle. Like increases like. Whatever quality is already present in your body or your mind, adding more of the same amplifies them. So summer carries the same qualities as Pitta dosha: hot, sharp, light, penetrating. So if Pitta is already your dominant energy, summer doesn't just warm you up, it adds heat to already existing heat. And here's a way to think about it. So you wouldn't put on a woolly jumper if you feel already hot. That instinct makes complete sense. But most of us haven't applied the same logic yet to food, exercise, or how we push through the day. Spicy food, intense workouts, long stretches of mental pressure. In summer, these tip Pitta further. The body is already managing heat. Adding more asks it to work even harder than it needs to already. This is why Pitta types can feel increasingly drained as the summer progresses. And it is completely normal because the season asks you to adapt. And just so you know, Kapha and Vata types, cooler by nature, they often find summer genuinely agreeable. The heat balances them rather than tipping them. If you've noticed that some women seem to open up in the summer while you're quietly wilting, that's why. You might think, okay, how do Pitta imbalances show up? Some of this you'll notice immediately. Some of it creeps in so gradually that you only connect it to summer when someone points it out. Here are a few examples to look out for. And maybe they sound very familiar. Sleep gets lighter. You might fall asleep easily, but wake up in the early hours. Mind already moving, the rest doesn't quite land. Or there's an irritability sitting just under the surface. A shorter fuse, a quicker flash of frustration. You know it's there. It takes more effort than usual to soften it. Maybe headaches arrive more easily, and for those who are prone to them, maybe migraines too. Heat is often the trigger because they are a result of too much heat in the head, though it doesn't always feel obvious in the moment. Here's another sign. Your energy dips in a way that feels different from ordinary tiredness. Not heavy, more washed out, depleted underneath the doing. And a very common one that I notice too is the skin starts to react. More sensitivity, more redness, more flare-ups than usual. Digestion runs hot, acidity rises, particularly after sour, salty, or pungent foods. Heartburn that wasn't there in the winter starts showing up after meals. And then there's the quieter one. Inflammation. Joints that feel stiffer or achier than usual. Coming back to the skin that's more sensitive. The gut feels unsettled, even when you're eating carefully. This is Pitta working through the tissues. It doesn't announce itself loudly, but it's worth paying attention to. One early signal I pay close attention to in myself and in the women I work with is burning eyes. If the eye starts to feel hot, dry, and irritated, that's Pitta telling you heat is building up. I notice it in myself, particularly after a long screen day. And this is becoming my personal signal that something needs to shift. More water, earlier evenings, cooling down before bed. Body is communicating, and it is worth listening to. This is where things start to connect. None of this requires a complete overhaul. It comes down to a few consistent shifts in what you eat, how you move, and how you close the day. Here are some areas where you can influence the heat quite fast. Food is the first one. Always, because we eat regularly throughout the day. There are 3 tastes that cool and calm Pitta, and they are sweet, bitter, and astringent. Here are a few examples of these tastes. Sweet doesn't mean sugar, it means naturally sweet foods like rice, sweet potatoes, summer squashes, ripe summer fruits and berries, peaches, watermelon. These are cooling and grounding and hydrating. Bitter comes from leafy greens or courgettes or cooling herbs such as coriander or fennel. If you're adding fresh coriander to your meals in the summer, you're already doing the right thing. Astringent taste is found in legumes, in pomegranate, and most fresh vegetables. It has a slightly drying, toning quality that helps settle excess heat. What to reduce are sour, salty, and pungent tastes, fermented foods, aged cheeses, vinegar, chili, excess salt. You don't need to remove them entirely, but if you experience any of the signs mentioned earlier, and Pitta is your main dosha, they tip it faster than you expect. And then it would be advisable to cut down on them. This is the simplest version of all of this. Eat what summer grows. Sweet, juicy berries, soft fruits, plenty of watery vegetables. Nature is already providing exactly what the body needs to stay balanced. I've linked a full summer food guide and cooling spices post in the show notes if you want to go a little deeper. Another area where you can influence Pitta's effect is movement, your exercise regime. Exercise before 8 a.m. while the air is still cool. Ayurveda's guidance is simple. Breaking a sweat. That's sufficient. After that, the body tends to exhaust rather than strengthen and be energized. Test how you feel when you finish. Movement that suits Pitta in summer leaves you energized and spacious. If you're finishing depleted or overheated, this session has asked too much. Stick with slow flow yoga. That works beautifully in the summer. The body opens easily in the heat and responds well to deep stretches and long holds. Refreshing twists help to move the heat through the body. always close with something restorative. Simple legs up the wall is excellent, or a proper shavasana. Lie down for 5 minutes. Let the nervous system land. In the evening, the body is ready to wind down. So deep belly breathing, gentle floor twists, a releasing back bend like an easy bridge pose. They help the nervous system to shift gear before sleep. This one I want to spend a moment on, because I see it so often and I experience it myself. In the evening, Pitta is most active between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. This is when the body is meant to be doing its internal work, processing the food, restoring, clearing. But if you're still awake, that Pitta energy goes elsewhere. You recognize the second wind around 10 or 11 p.m. A sudden alertness arrives. It feels like a good moment to answer those emails, finish the lists, get ahead of tomorrow. I know this feeling very well. I work a lot in the evenings, and that second wind can be genuinely convincing. It feels like productive. It feels like the right moment. But that's Pitta firing. It keeps you wired long past when you need to be asleep. So do the opposite. Go to bed before or around 10 p.m. And this is one of the most effective things a Pitta type can do in the summer. If the mind feels too full to settle, a short to-do list for the next day gives it somewhere to put everything. The mind releases more easily when it knows nothing will be forgotten. If you find it generally hard to wind down in the evenings, the list keeps growing, the mind won't settle, the day doesn't have a clear end to it. That's often a rhythm question as much as a Pitta one. My life workshop, When Rest Isn't Enough, looks at exactly this. How to structure the day shapes how the body settles at night. You'll find the link in the show notes. Here's something that might be new to you. The skin is a Pitta organ, and often the first place imbalances show, as we talked about earlier. 2 simple anchors help immediately. Rose water spritzed on the face or applied as cooling pads on the eyes before bed. Soothes and cools quickly, not just the eyes, the entire head and neck region. Aloe vera gel applied directly to reactive or sun-exposed skin calms inflammation and restores the barrier. I've linked a full summer skin post in the show notes too for everything else, if that's something that interests you particularly. Before we go further, here's something important worth paying attention to. Balancing Pitta in summer supports digestion, steadies emotion, and keeps the skin clearer through the season. But there's a longer reason too, because heat accumulates in the body. And if it isn't cleared through the summer months, it carries forward into the autumn and winter. For Pitta types, this accumulated heat then meets Vata's drying qualities as colder months arrive. The result is often ongoing skin issues, hair loss, and inflammation that seem out of place for the season. So what you do in the summer shapes how you arrive in autumn. It's worth starting now. So let's bring everything together. Summer is the season worth enjoying. Most Pitta types look forward to it. The light, the energy, the long evenings, the symptoms that creep in are not inevitable. They are the body asking you to do things a little different. Observe your energy during exercising. If you finish depleted or feel depleted afterwards, the session has asked too much. Eat more of cooling tastes. Eat seasonally is the easiest way to stay balanced. Remember, nature provides exactly what the body needs. It's already growing what summer asks for. Before you sleep, write tomorrow's to-do list. Let the mind put it down. Close the evening with gentle floor twists, releasing, back bend. Let the body follow where the breath leads. Summer is asking you to move differently. Not to do less, but to do it with more ease. You don't need to do all of this at once. One small step is great. Thank you so much for listening to Rooted in the Seasons. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe or follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That way, new episodes land automatically for you. If you'd like more support between episodes, you can download my free guide, 5 daily Ayurvedic shifts to feel like yourself again, and join my Sunday Read newsletter. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if something in this episode resonated, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on Substack or drop me an email. I always read and answer them. Until next time, stay rooted in the season. Thank you. Bye-bye.